Welcome to this Zentangle Quickie. My name is Heather Hartwick Gladden. I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we're going to take a look at the Tangle Trifle from CZT Margaret Bremner. I love her stuff. I've not met her in person, but I like the way she thinks and the way she does things. It's just so neat. We've done several of hers. Drunk Cubine, I think, is one of my favorites. There's a video. Take a look. It was called, I might have called it Drunk Cubine, but it was your go home Cubine, you're drunk or something like that. Just really, really fun. This is fun as well. Now, this is a fill-in tangle. And so I'm going to start with a pencil line, imagining that I've done a string, and let's just say, I really always have, let's just do that. Okay, very good. So this is the shape that we're filling in. I have trouble with randomness and all of that and strings. Okay. First thing, we're going to fill this with triangles. And I love that it's kind of like a game, if you will. So find a place, so you can, of course, move the, I think I'm going to put it right up here. We want to fit one big triangle in here somewhere. And honestly, I don't know. I put mine, starting at the top. I don't know that you have to do that. Because it seemed like on Margaret's, kind of like if you've done the Tangle and Zeppel, it's like finding a place that you can fit the biggest one in. And so touching, as many of the sides as you can. And it looks like it's kind of a, is it, equilateral-ish triangle. But, it's just like, okay, well, what could I could fit that in, like, then it's just kind of narrow. Maybe let's do it the other way. And maybe I'll put the bottom end here. Or, see, and this is, to me, this is the fun. Oh, maybe here. Maybe here. Let's do this. I'm going to start here. And, so hit to that edge. And then, let's do it from this edge, or from that point down to here, because I was picturing that it could fit in right there. Now, what's fun is it's going to be a different shape every time. So it's a different game every time. Oh, how can I fit this in here? And then from there, and we're just going to keep, it's like, okay, where else can we fit in a big triangle? Oh, well, we could probably put one in right there. And and you want them facing pretty much the same direction. So I think we can fit one in right here and just tie it in. But let's do the, trying to get it in the same direction. Like that. And then we keep subdividing, right, all of the blank areas. So it's just pick an area. And again, you want those points to be, for the most part, at the top. So like right here, well, we can put one right here. That's fun. Oh, and we could put one probably right here. And I think we could fit one right here too. That'll be a little narrower. And let's try over here. And so, well, that's part of the game. And she does put more or less in her description. And speaking of description, take a look at the For More Inspiration link for just that. But what I like about what Margaret does is in her step out on her blog, it's like she's talking us through it, and it's so nice, and I just love that. Okay, so here's another big area. Let's see how we can, let's just go here. Some of it, it does take a little bit of eyeballing, but you know what? I mean, it is Zentangle, so whatever happens, happens. And you could, like I could have continued in an area, but apparently I didn't want to, which is fine, because you can always go back. And fill in triangles is, till you don't feel like you want to do anymore. Let's see. I'll fit one right here. I'm going really small here, apparently. And I don't know. I just think it's rather fun. I'm like, ooh, what a fun game this is. How many triangles? And that's, hence the name, triangle full, as we're filling the space in with triangles. And we're going to fill in the backgrounds. I think I have gone to the point of ridiculousness here, but there is an interesting kind of twist. And so, like I said, the trick is finding a space and fitting in a triangle as best you can. Oh, I don't know if I finished my sentence on enzeppel. So if you've done the Tangle enzeppel, if you've not, it's spelled N-Z-E-P-P. I think it's L-E. Try it both ways. Because I do have a video on it. You can click on my picture or my name below the video to get to the main page of my YouTube channel, and then you can search from there. And so if you've not done it, but if you have, whether you do it in a, it's a triangle grid or odd-shaped grid, for those that don't know, so that way you don't have to go look at it to understand. And then we're fitting in orbs into those spaces, right? And it's, imagine you're a bubble, and how would you fit in, like if we were to do that here, how tight can you fit in? Because it's not going to fill in a corner, right? You're going to have some roundness there, and that's the premise of that. And so filling in all the spaces. This similarly, we're filling it in, but we're doing it with triangles. So it's like, all right, well, how can I fit that one in exactly here and make it a triangle? That looks like a triangle. Do I want to put some on the edges? Do I, how small do I want to go? All of that. I mean, because really, one could do that. And that. And that. Like I said, it just depends. They do make smaller than the 01. I think I'll leave that one there. All right, just about done here. Well, I've gone so small on the other ones. Why leave this here, right? You might have been thinking that. I heard you. And I tell you what, if something just gets a little too messy, because we're filling in the background, you can just run right over whatever. It's, it's all good. Okay, actually, I'm going to start from here and just fill in. Like I said, that's all we're doing is filling in all of the areas. I usually will trace over the pencil line for something like this when I'm filling in, because it just helps. There's a little gap there. So that way it's like, okay, that's where it is. Not that you can't, keep, going outside of it and whatnot. All right. So as I'm doing this is what is so interesting. Excuse me. So taking a look, and it's like, oh my gosh, that is so filled in with triangles. Oh my goodness. But what's interesting is, as you're filling it in, it's as if it's like, well, where'd all that space come from? And the thing to consider, and this is like when I put the shine on orbs, if you see me do that, and I'll say, draw it bigger than you think. And I think there was another video where I mentioned you have to consider the pen line that's created, because what you have left is really what's inside the pen line. And we don't really realize that until we do something like this, where we're filling in solid behind it. I'm going to have to redraw this line. I get a little sloppy with, but that's okay. You can see, can you? Yes, you can see that. Watch that. Wait, I'll finish first, because better to tidy up afterwards. And so that we'll see, okay, how many more times am I going to go over into that space? So this is a neat one on a number of levels besides what I've already mentioned, because you could totally get yourself lost in this, I can see. And and that's where using Zentangle as a meditative practice. I was trying to think of the right words, or a mindfulness practice. Exercise is the word. If you're doing that on purpose for that, I just have it as the side effect of doing it. But this is one that you could just totally get lost on, and really not necessarily be bored. If you understand how the string works, and if you've not taken a Zentangle beginner class, I call mine Zentangle Essentials. And by the way, I offer it whenever there's a 5th Tuesday in the month, probably as long as I don't have anything weird in my schedule. I have been offering it on that 5th Tuesday just as a way to make sure I kind of do it on a semi-regular basis, but it's, anyway. So come and join us. But yeah, we touch on strings. I also have a string theory class that I will do as a follow-up to the Zentangle Essentials, and where we just focus on this. I mean, so this is one section of whatever your string would be. So if you haven't taken a class with a CZT, make sure to do it. And and all CZTs teach differently and things like that. So so it's fun. Highly recommend, worthwhile. Like I said, does so, and I'm saying that because it doesn't have to be me. But that's where we talk about that's where I talk about the method that is Zentangle, and the meditative part of it, and then also the fact that these are tiny little spaces, and you really aren't necessarily going to be able to get away with using anything big. So while I would highly recommend take a eyeball break every so often when you're doing something like this, stretch your hand break, so that way you can breathe, stuff like that, so that way you can stay kind of relaxed, but also in the moment of filling things in, and then not looking really any way past the little triangle that you're filling in. One thing that I have gotten kind of confused on myself with this is, I'm like, as I'm filling one, I'm like, wait, is that an actual triangle, or is it the remainder? Because see, like right here, I essentially have 3, what did we have? 4 triangles right here, but not really, because this is the triangle. And well, you know what? Here's the secret, which just dawned on me. That's also why she said have them pointing in this similar-ish direction, so that way because they're not gonna point. This is a triangle, but it's pointing the wrong direction, so it's getting filled in. So let me pause here, and so that way we can see and remember what that looked like a moment ago before I filled things in. And look at it, it's like, oh my gosh, that's just so busy. But when you fill it in, all of a sudden, because of the little bit of pen line that's already there, sorry, my phone is blowing up. Come on, there. Okay. It doesn't do anything until I do this. But anyway, it's an interesting thing that happens with this. And so, therefore, even if you're going really small, just remember, it's like, you know what? When you fill that in, you're still going to look like you have a lot of space. And you will. Now, looking at Margaret's stuff while I'm doing this, it almost doesn't look like she shades it at all. So, and I'm thinking, well, okay, well, how would you do that? You could do, some in the triangles. You could, or something. But what's neat about this one, besides, it's a high contrast. So if you need some high contrast space in your tangle, this is a great one. But then too, I don't know, sometimes shading might take away from the interestingness of it. It generally does. It generally adds life. And I'm just imagining, like, okay, well, how would I? Because you could do the overall pattern, like I said, or you could do a little graphite in there. And because it's Zentangle and you can do whatever you want, and I'm picturing, you know who I'm talking about, you. I'm imagining seeing all kinds of juicy gemminess that could come from this too, because of course you don't have to just keep it like this. You can have just as much fun with it as you want. All right, last two little places, and then maybe I'll tidy up a little bit. And while you take a pen break, grab your mouse. If you're enjoying this, and I hope you are, please click the like button. And if you liked it enough to see more, would love to have you be a subscriber to the channel. I have some little places I need to just put the pen down in. Would love to have you be a subscriber to the channel. Again, in the description section, you can check out the for more inspiration links. And part of me is like thinking, this is just way too something over here. And maybe, you know what? Maybe these little ones, I'm going to fill those in. Maybe the whole thing there. That's the beauty of the fill-in. You can course correct however you need to. Okay, that's better. So I'm just going to tidy up, but I wanted to point out one way to tidy up, because see here, I've gone over the line a little bit. Just trace over the edge of the line, being ever so careful, right? And see how it tidied that up. Let's do it over here. It's just like magic. But I'm tracing over the line. I'm trying not to go too far in, because I want to keep that as big as possible. But carefully going over, look at that. And then I'm going to do the perimeter too. Ooh, and I just had another thought on shading. Okay, we'll do that. Because I've kind of left some of the graphite on the outside. And so we could always, and this is going to depend on how you have this placed in your tangle. But I think I might, I call it fuzzing it out. And I'll probably have to put extra graphite around the outside. We'll see. But see how just, finishing this up with just going around again, around the edge with your pen. And just being careful to, like I said, just tracing over the very edge, because it's really hard to get it right on. So it just naturally tucks things in. Especially if you get sloppy like I do. Okay, yeah, especially right over here. There we go. Because there's no harm in redefining, reshaping. Oops, upside down. Upside down, it really doesn't matter. Whatever angle if it's like this is your shape and that's it, fine. If it's this, fine. You want them all to be going in a similar direction. Okay. Just because. like I said, you could, well, yeah. There's 100 ways to Sunday to shade anything, and it's just called pick one. Heather, pick one. This makes me think of like a camping map or something. And we'll just spread this out to the outside, which that can look neat. So like if this is in a a bigger tangle work, same idea. You can put graphite. I do that a lot, where I'll decide what level, because I see the finished Zentangle work as like layers of wallpaper that are peeled off, and so I decide, well, who's closer to the top, who's not, and where are we putting you, and then I'll either do this into another tangle or go inside, because it just it moves it differently. So all right, how fun, really, really cool. All right, so again, hope you enjoyed it. Do check out that description section for all kinds of information. Oh, I left some things out besides the links to the step outs. Ways to connect with me, links are there to my website. You can follow my blog, Facebook page. You can follow me there. I post classes primarily. I post them on Facebook. I have a couple other places that I post them. You can find out the information on my website. It's Eventbrite and meetup.com. And I have links, so that way you can follow me easy. Also, if you would like to be part of the conversation and have a nice, safe place to share your Zentangle work, we would love to have you join our Tangle Addicts community. We have a private Facebook group, and it's a lot of fun. We have a lot of fantastic people on there, and everybody is so supportive. It's really nice. So if you'd like to be a part of the conversation, come and join us. We'd love to have you. There are 4 questions that you have to answer, though, to gain entry. Just want to let you know that. All right. I can't remember if I mentioned classes. I think I did. I do classes twice weekly. Information is on my website. And with that, thanks so much for watching. And I wish you happy tangling.